You've been asking for it, and it's been quite a while, late 2023 in fact, since the last time we did a large-scale streaming quality audio video fidelity face-off. But I'm back to update on that video now. So we're here in the living room. I'm going to do all of this testing on my LG G2 OLED TV still, Apple TV 4K, latest model, and I am running the latest developer beta of tvOS 26. Just in case anybody out there is wondering, hey, are we getting all the super high fidelity pass-through and things in tvOS 26? Well, we'll see what happens with that, but I don't think any of that stuff is going to show itself in the testing that we're going to do here today. I'm going to look at a bunch of super popular streaming apps. We're going to look at Apple directly, Netflix, both Apple TV Plus actually, and purchased movies like iTunes movies, Disney Plus, and others. We'll take a sweep through a whole bunch. We'll see, have bit rates increased since late 2023? Has the fidelity of the audio and video aspects of streaming increased at all since 2023? Should you throw away your disc? Should you unplug your Kaleidoscape? Well, spoiler alert, I don't really think too much has changed actually in all this time since the last video. But in any case, let's take a look. The other thing to add actually that I should mention is, again, we are doing this on the Apple TV 4K latest model. We are doing this by virtue of being able to access the developer menu, the hidden developer menu in the Apple TV settings, and enabling the playback HUD. There'll be text essentially in the upper left-hand corner of the screen that gives us all kinds of technical details about what the Apple TV is getting in the stream, what it's outputting, and what it's playing. In order to be able to access the hidden developer menu and get access to the playback HUD, you have to be enrolled in the Apple developer program. You have to have your devices basically kind of registered in the developer program as well. I've done all that. There is already a long-standing video. It's quite old now, but the process is still the same. How to get access to the developer settings and the playback HUD on the Apple TV. You want to learn that, check out the prior video. So without further ado, let's jump into some apps, let's play some content, and let's see if streaming quality, fidelity, bit rates, and so on has changed really much at all since late 2023. All right, we're going to try to keep the screen focused in the upper left-hand corner here, give a better view of the playback HUD itself. And I did just purchase Sinners. We're going to use Sinners. Huge movie, one of the most popular movies of the year. I don't know how long ago, but a little bit ago anyway, recently, somewhat recently, came available to watch digitally. The movie's available on HBO Max, and it's a Movies Anywhere title. So we're going to be able to test a whole lot of things out because of Sinners. Where Sinners is not available, we will find some other content to test as well. So we're going to do the Apple TV app first, the purchased version, the purchased copy here of Sinners. We're going to go ahead and play. The playback HUD should pop in once we start getting some flow streaming content. There we go. And what I'm going to do is just jump ahead a little bit into the movie, past all the stuff, and then give it a second here, and then we're going to give it a pause. All right, Apple iTunes, Apple TV app, first one up. All right, so a couple things strike me here right off the bat that are not very different from the way that things were streaming back in 2023. We're looking at video format, QDH1 codec, Dolby Vision Profile 5, all the same, very similar. Audio format QEC3 with 16 channels, that's indicating Dolby Atmos. This looks like a natively 16:9 movie. It's not ultra widescreen or scope, so we are streaming here at the full 4K. Now if we look down at the bitrate indications, there's a couple different things that the HUD tells us. It gives us what it's called average video bitrate, and for basically, or average bitrate for video and for audio. It gives us an indicated bitrate peak, which I understand is not related to any type of network bandwidth or download speed or anything like that. And then we're getting over an overall average indicated bitrate as well. Indicated bitrate peak and average representing, I think, some type of aggregate or some type of totals. But our average video bitrate, 14. Wow, pretty low. Even for iTunes, pretty low. A lot of times iTunes movies can get up there pretty good, up into the 20s. Now there is variance here, movie by movie. We're looking at a very, very small sample size. But the best streaming that I've ever seen can be up into the 30s, maybe into the 40s on the video side. But for Sinners, wow, amazingly, average bitrate video that's showing here 14 megabit per second. Indicated bitrate peak 24.67. Audio 770 kilobit per second. I want to stress this very clear. In the longest time that I've been doing these check-ins on streaming quality, fidelity, and all of that, when it's come to audio, it's come to Dolby Atmos, 770 kilobit is about, or is actually the highest quality that you're ever going to get, that you're ever going to really see for streaming audio. Now you're looking at lossless audio encodings, codecs off of a disc, Kaleidoscape. Audio bit rates can be 10x or more what we get from streaming in terms of the audio. 770 has been a natural limit. I don't know why that number was chosen, but it still seems to be what they're encoding to today. So all in all, from an Apple iTunes purchased movie perspective, I can say that I'm not necessarily overwhelmingly impressed by anything. Nothing is necessarily any different. Apple generally remains amongst the best places when it comes to the technical fidelity aspects, the highest bit rates anyway, to watch your content compared to some other services and other places that I've tested, particularly Apple TV Plus content. But again, this is a purchased instance of the Sinners movie. All right, speaking of Apple TV Plus, let's take a look. Now, the one movie that I would be really excited to test eventually would be F1. Apple's putting a lot of money and a lot of marketing and whatnot behind the creation of that movie. It's not available to stream on Apple TV Plus yet. So what I'm going to do in terms of, an Apple TV Plus specific movie is I'm going to go down here in the Apple TV Plus app. We're going to look at the top movie. The top movie available, that's Apple TV Plus specific exclusive, showing here Fountain of Youth. We're going to use that as our litmus test for Apple TV Plus. What kind of quality is Apple using in their own content? Their own content that they're providing exclusive to their streaming service, whatever they're trying to maximize and promote. All right, now we're talking, and basically now we're cooking. Apple TV Plus content, generally speaking, amongst the highest fidelity streaming that you're going to find. Now this is actually a scope piece of content. They're black bars above and below the screen. Same codecs, QDH1 codec, Dolby Vision Profile 5, QEC, Dolby Atmos, 16 channels. All of that is the same. The audio is the same. Again, 770 kilobit per second. That's a fixed maximum nowadays for streaming audio quality. Average video bitrate though, 28. Double that as Sinners. I have generally, and I would say systematically, found that Apple uses a higher fidelity encoding bit rates. They put more bandwidth, which I think ultimately probably costs them more time to encode it, costs them more bandwidth in servicing and whatnot to be able to stream it and provide it. But Apple brings the quality to the Apple TV Plus content very consistently. Indicated bit rates, peak is 30.85, average 25.07. So sometimes these numbers don't always jive, but again, this is the best I think that we have to be able to measure what is being provided in this type of audio video content, and again, to be able to compare and contrast very directly different services that are, for the most part today here, providing the same content, because we're going to be looking at Sinners on a couple of different apps and platforms. But as it is, Apple TV Plus, always a winner, and I'll venture a guess that it will be at the top of the heap after we're all done here. All right, I'm going to go in the order of kind of just how I have the app set up on my Apple TV. That means we're going to go to Disney Plus next. Now, Sinners is not available on Disney Plus. I think what we're going to look at on Disney Plus, if we go to movies, is Captain America 4, Brave New World. Big movie. You would think that they would care very much about that movie wanting to basically look great, play great. All right, so what should we be getting? What's indicated here? 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. This is an IMAX enhanced movie as well, which means it uses a taller aspect ratio, not scope. It's basically the scope aspect ratio, but also height added to that. Not a 16:9 like crop or cutout, but a wider screen, but full taller information. All right, let's play this. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. All right, and what are we looking at? Similar things. QDH1, Dolby Vision 5. Interestingly, codec EC3 16 channels, Dolby Atmos, 768 kilobit on the audio. Disney Plus is usually been up there, usually up there in quality, and also usually up there for video and for audio as well, matching up to iTunes again, 770 kilobit, about the maximum that we're kind of looking for here. Average bitrate video, 16.3. I almost feel like some of these numbers are dropping a little bit, at least that iTunes number and this number. Very commonly, we would see streaming rates up into the 20s. These numbers seem to be a little bit lower from prior times that we've done this type of measuring and investigation. Indicated bitrate peak 27.7, average 17.4. Still, average bitrate video mid-upper teens, audio 768. Very good for streaming, but still a far cry from disc, kaleidoscope, and high fidelity, high bitrate sources. All right, let's go to Max next. So Sinners is available to stream on Max as well. I apologize if the camera's pumping a little bit through some of this, but Sinners, 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. Max is usually pretty decent quality itself as well. So first attempt here at Max is failing pretty bad. We're not actually getting everything we're supposed to get. We've got, actually it looks like we're streaming 1080p SDR, Dolby Digital. So we're not locking on. I'm gonna try this again. This is another test though. I like to keep this kind of natural, which is to say, like, how do these streaming apps actually perform? Can you just pick a random movie, play it, get the quality that you're expecting to get out of it? Is it reliable? We've seen other apps fail in the past in various ways. So Max is not doing a great job. I will give the apps a little bit of a pass also though, in this case, because we are talking about a very, very early developer beta of tvOS 26. So try it again, and it looks like Max is just broken. SDR, natural size 1920 by 1080. We're not getting 4K. A paltry 1.62 megabit per second for the 1080p signal, and a 256 kilobit, again, Dolby Digital type of audio coming out of this. I think we just have to move forward into another app. Max is failing. If you're using HBO Max on an Apple TV, maybe give it a look. Or maybe some issues might need to be reported, perhaps in totality, perhaps just in the tvOS 26 beta. But Max does not seem to be delivering on what it's supposed to be delivering. Just to give it a fair shake, I did try Minecraft here on Max as well. It's doing the same thing, basically streaming HD, low bit rate, Dolby Digital. So we're going to call it on Max. Max is a failure today. Fix your stuff, Max. All right, next up, we're going to try Fandango at Home, the old Vudu app. One of the things I have to say right off the bat, I'm not a big fan. Vudu, in its different forms, has not always represented itself with the best quality. What I find with this app, like almost all the time, is it never frickin' stays logged in. Constantly, always have to get out my iPhone and log it back in every time I use it. What a pain. Maybe I just don't use it enough, but in any case. We got Sinners here. Sinners, Movies Anywhere movie. Bought it on Apple TV, Apple iTunes, went to Movies Anywhere, came through to Fandango. It's telling us 4K, UHD, no HDR. Interesting. I don't know why. Indicates Dolby Atmos. Let's see what we get. All right, what do we got? QD-H1, Dolby Vision 5. Everybody using the same codecs. QEC3, 16 channels, Dolby Atmos. Native 4K, we're getting it. Higher bitrate. Wow, interesting. 23.49 megabit per second. Average bitrate for video. Indicated bitrate peak 41.77. Wow, where you at, Apple? Why didn't you throw some more bitrate at this movie over in the TV app? Although here's the problem, and this is consistent with what I've seen in the past. Audio, 449 kilobit per second. For whatever reason, Vudu never did. Fandango does it now. They don't go up to the 770 audio bitrate level that Disney Plus, usually Max, I think, hit up there as well. We couldn't test it in this video, but that Apple usually hits to as well. So I guess you got a choice here. Double the video bitrate, nearabouts, compared to iTunes, for not quite half the audio bitrate. What do you value more? Sound off in the comments. What do you value more in your stream? Do you want better video, or do you want better audio? It sucks that you have to make a choice. It'd be nice if iTunes was up at this level of video bitrate, or Fandango was also up at the 770 kilobit audio rate. But I'm actually happily impressed overall that Fandango Vudu representing itself a bit better here than it has in the past. Normally Vudu is lower both in the audio and the video systematically from doing a number of these tests, a number of these kind of check-ins and such over the years. I know there's a lot of lovers of this service. Not everybody likes Apple, and if you're looking to build a library, historically speaking, Vudu Fandango is the place that a lot of folks have gone for a online digital streaming library that's not Apple, and of course not Kaleidoscope. Let's go to the next one. All right, here we are, Movies Anywhere, and Sinners, of course, popped up. I'm happy with the speed of propagation of movie rights through Movies Anywhere. Movies Anywhere is telling us here 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. Interestingly, actually, that there wasn't an HDR indication back on Vudu. Well, in any case. QD-H1 video codec, big surprise. Dolby Vision 5, EC3, 16 channels, Dolby Atmos, 4K. Average bitrate video 24.5. Wow, iTunes not matching up on this movie with other services also carrying it. Audio though, less than the 770, 640. This is also, I think, pretty normal for movies anywhere. They do better. It's not the 449 or whatever that Fandango was. It's not the 770 that iTunes and such was. Indicated bitrate peak 32.29, average 24.61. So all in all, Movies Anywhere is actually not too bad of a place historically to watch your content as well. It historically often isn't the best, but it's far from the worst. The only downside, of course, is you can only watch content from studios that are actually connected to Movies Anywhere. And this worked great. This worked great first time, first play, ramped right up everywhere it's supposed to be. In the past, in these types of videos, we have seen some troubles with Movies Anywhere doing something similar to what Max did, basically not delivering on the level of fidelity potential that it actually provided or could have achieved. All right, we're going to go to Prime, Amazon Prime Video next. Now, historically, this is the dog. This is the worst of the worst. But they are a Movies Anywhere connection. So we should see, up there it is, new movie, Sinners. What are we looking at? UHD HDR10 Plus. Interesting. However, it doesn't indicate, there's no tag that we should be getting Dolby Atmos. Amazon usually sucks. Amazon is usually really low. Is that going to be the case here? Let's see. All right, Amazon, what do we got? Codec QHVC HDR10. So different codecs, different profiles. QEC, no Atmos. Audio bitrate 192. A paltry 192. Dolby Digital Audio, no Atmos. Major movie. One of the biggest movies of the year. A big title. Amazon can't even see fit to deliver it with Dolby Atmos. The video bit rates, though, are good. Better than iTunes, surprisingly. 17.58 megabit per second. Usually Amazon's a dog here, too. Indicated bitrate peak 26.07, average 19.9. As it is, though, I would never recommend Amazon as a place to collect your content, as a priority place to consume your content. Watch the Amazon Prime exclusives. They have some great stuff, man. Invincible, The Boys, a lot of comic book inspired things. Definitely some content that I am personally interested to watch, but this would never be a go-to for me for reliably wanting to stream my content in any level of consistently or reliably decent fidelity. So, and here kind of proving it again. Major big movie, and we didn't even get Dolby Atmos. Low bitrate audio, respectable on the video, but not near some of the other services that were representing the high of video fidelity bit rates. All right, let's take a look at Peacock. Now, Peacock doesn't really have anything, I think, super great to test. Trying to look around and find something that might be new this month, or maybe like Peacock exclusive in some capacity. Of course, they're not connected to Movies Anywhere, so we're not going to be watching. We're not going to have Sinners kind of come through. Looks like mostly people are watching older stuff on Peacock, but I'll go with what they presented to me. Jaws 50. 50th anniversary of Jaws. My daughter, actually, my older daughter, just watched this with some of her friends. 4K UHD, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos. We got all the fixings. Did they throw something extra at it? Is it new in code? Is it enhanced, increased? Let's jump ahead into the movie here. All right, so here we are, Jaws. We're into the movie a little bit. What are we looking at? Peacock QDH1 video codec, Dolby Vision 5, QEC3, 16 channels. That's all the same. Dolby Vision, HDR codecs. Dolby Atmos, everything. 4K, we're getting 4K. 14.97 megabit per second. Average bitrate video, 642 kilobit per second. So it's higher. It's not quite at the 770 peak of audio streaming fidelity, but it's not at the lowest that we see for Dolby Atmos either. Indicated bitrate peak 25 megabit per second. Average 15.74. Respectable for Peacock. I think when Peacock was relatively newer, and I first started adding Peacock to some of my tests and some of my face-offs, I feel like it didn't represent itself that well. This is decent. I'd say average, or maybe slightly better than average. Definitely not the worst type of streaming as it is. I don't really use Peacock that much, so I'm not super familiar with it. In fact, the only thing that I use Peacock for, aside from maybe the Olympics, a little bit during Olympic time, is WWE content. And I'd love for Netflix to get just all the WWE content. I would love to cancel Peacock. I really don't have much of a need for it otherwise. But if you like it, it seems to be representing itself pretty decently here in this face-off today. All right, Hulu. Let's try Hulu. I don't use Hulu, I have to admit, a whole lot. I've actually signed up for it mostly because it's fairly cheap with Disney Plus as a combo. And we signed up for it to watch Lego Masters. Lego Masters is actually back. I'm at a little bit of a loss to say what do we want to pick. I don't want to pick something old. I want to pick something kind of newly released. I kind of wanted to avoid animated stuff, but we're just going to go with some animation here just to kind of see what we get. This is Predator: Killer of Killers. I think a big Hulu release. The tags are kind of messed up there, so we can't really see what we're supposed to be getting. But if this isn't in HDR, Dolby Atmos, and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, and this is still a Hulu original, so you would think they would want to, they'd want to make it look good. But what do we got? QHVC. Wow, Dolby Vision 8.1. First Dolby Vision Profile 8 piece of content. Everything else has been Profile 5. QEC3, no Dolby Atmos in this film. It is 4K, 7.66 megabit per second average video bitrate, 258 audio. Of course, we don't expect a lot out of the audio bitrate when it's not Dolby Atmos. Just lossy Dolby Digital. Indicated bitrate peak, 20.64, average, 11.53. It's animated. I'll give it a little bit of a pass because it's animated. Yeah, it is what it is. I wouldn't subscribe to Hulu because of quality. And if you were choosing between where do you want to play your content, do you actually want to play it in Disney Plus or do you want to play it in the Hulu app? I would generally recommend sticking over to the Disney Plus app itself if you can. But Hulu is really about, I think, more so watching. It's a cable TV replacement, right? It's about watching broadcast content. Quality, fidelity is a little bit less of a concern there. You kind of just want to watch your shows. So Hulu's never really been up there in the mix as a peak audio fidelity type of app. Just as a double check, I did want to look in the Disney Plus app and see if things are the same. If I look up Predator: Killer of Killers in the Disney Plus app, it's telling us 4K Ultra HD Dolby Vision 5.1, so there's no Dolby Atmos over here either. Included with your Hulu subscription. I am going to sanity check this. And interesting, it's not the same. It's not the same. QDH1 video, Dolby Vision 5. QEC3, still Dolby Digital, not Atmos. Same audio, I think 256 kilobit. Video is a lot higher, 16.31, over twice as much video bitrate watching on Disney Plus versus watching on Hulu. Indicated bitrate peak 29.25, average 16.45. Yeah, I would watch your Hulu stuff on Disney Plus, I think, if you can. I don't know if there's anything materially different about Dolby Vision 5 versus 8.1 in correlation to analyzing the video bitrate. But generally speaking, more has the potential to be better. The higher the bitrate, the higher the base potential, I think, for the video quality to be better as well. Mastering, all that stuff makes a difference. There are other factors that make a difference as well. But I would always go where the higher numbers generally are as just a flat baseline. So 16.31. Maybe I'll come back to this one a little bit in a future video, maybe even do a little bit more of a dedicated Hulu versus Disney Plus app type of comparison. That may be interesting. Do also not just kind of looking at the numbers and stuff, but also doing more subjective comparisons and whatnot. But as it is, Hulu, it's good for what it is. It's not your quality destination. Watch your Hulu content that you can on Disney Plus, it seems like, based on this. All right, last but not least, of course, Netflix. Always lots of interesting, cool content on Netflix. I want to look at some type of a Netflix original, and what it's showing me here, The Old Guard 2, 2025, brand new movie, recently added, should be Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision. Let's see what Netflix is putting behind their stream. All right, and here we have CDH1. So interesting. I'm not sure what the acronym difference means. Not QDH1, CDH1. Dolby Vision Profile 5, EC3, 16 channels. So Dolby Vision, 4K, Dolby Atmos, we're getting all of it. Audio bitrate, 771. So it's up there. Netflix is up there. Generally speaking, in the past, Netflix had been lower in the audio bit rates, Dolby Atmos bit rates. Cool to see them up near the max there, 770. Average video bitrate, 15.89. Indicated bitrate peak, 27.75. Average 14.1. So middle of the road, average level of streaming bitrate, video bitrate quality coming out of Netflix. Good on the audio, average on the video. All in all, I feel like Netflix usually looks pretty good, and historically speaking, their numbers are are solid, but not always amongst the best. So there we go. There is your effectively, what is it, July 2025, updated since late October-ish 2023. Massive multi-service streaming face-off. In these 18-ish months, a year and a half plus that it's been since the last video, man, time flies, there is no significant change in what we're seeing in the state of streaming. Similar codecs, similar capabilities, similar formats, similar bit rates. Dolby Atmos audio topping out at the 770 level. Video bit rates in the teens, generally speaking, into the 20 megabits if you're lucky. Of course, when we're talking about things like disc and kaleidoscape, we're getting video bit rates up into the 50s, 60s, 100, even 100 plus megabit per second video capability in those other services and those other types of media formats. In those other services and formats, we're looking at audio bit rates, 10x, maybe even up to 20x, 15x, with lossless encodings, of course. So none of these services here, at least in this small sampling size, has seen fit to really change anything dramatic in that pretty long period of time. Of course, we know in the tvOS 26 information, there's talk about pass-through. What will that mean? Could it mean better quality? Could it mean lossless formats? We just don't know about any of that. I think any comments about that is really just speculation. I know it's a very exciting thing. A lot of people want to talk about that. There's going to be comments and questions about it in this video for sure. I'm not putting a lot of stock and hope into that until we actually see what tvOS 26 does with any of those capabilities when they actually come to the betas. So stay tuned to the channel. When I get the betas, when I get the updates, for rest assured right away, I'll test them. I'll make that comment. I'll provide the commentary, and we'll see what any of that's actually about. But as it is, in the last 18 months, there's no real significant or really no at all state change in the level of fidelity, technicals, logistics, bit rates, and such related to streaming. Kind of a disappointment. Even in this interim as well, the other thing that I think people may comment about, well, what about like the Bravia Core format in service? It's like super high quality, it's super high bit rate, it's all that stuff. Bravia Core it's like a ghost. It doesn't exist. It's kind of like vaporware service, right? It was available on PlayStation. It may be available on like Sony televisions now. It doesn't carry widespread studio content. It's not readily available on multiple playback devices and so on. So I'm not putting a lot of stock or value in Bravia either, regardless of the fact that they may be streaming 80 megabit or more on their video. Last that I knew about that service as well, the audio was still lossy. It might have been DTS audio as well, but it was still lossy. It's not ubiquitous enough. It's not been deployed. It doesn't carry all the different type of content that you might want to watch. So to me, it's a non-starter. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for a real widely available and both available in terms of accessibility on many platforms, devices, and so on, as well as content from all studios. And that we're still waiting for some service to step up and provide a big step forward, an order of magnitude, a state change in the quality of streaming, and we're just not getting it. So keep your discs, buy that physical media, and or enjoy your kaleidoscapes, because if you want high fidelity delivered content in home theater, those are your choices. Streaming is awesome. I don't want to totally, I'm not downplaying it. I don't want to disregard it. I think overall what we have today for streaming is actually really good, all things considered. It's just not the pinnacle. It's a good step back from the best that we have available to us in terms of content delivery. Of course, there is a lot of content behind the paywalls of these streaming services. There's a lot of content that's exclusive to these streaming services, and I happily watch that stuff on these streaming services. I don't bat an eye. It doesn't bother me. I don't complain and cry about it. If I want to watch a piece of content that's exclusive to a streaming service, I'll stream it. I'll watch it in here. I'll watch it in the super high-end dedicated home theater room downstairs, and I'll generally be quite happy with what I'm looking at. However, when I have the choice, I'm going to a higher fidelity format. I'm going to a higher fidelity platform or ecosystem. I'm using Kaleidoscape personally. So I think the best 1-2 punch, the best 1-2 combination for content sourcing and playback and all of that in this hobby still remains, in my opinion, what I use as well myself, Apple TV and Kaleidoscape. Those are my two sources for video content. Covers pretty much everything that I would want to watch. Gives me the perfect segue for high fidelity content, early release access, accessibility, all of that, all the awesome features of Kaleidoscape when I can get it. If I can watch it there, I will. I'll buy it there, I'll watch it. Otherwise, I'll relegate back to Apple TV and be happy, still happy in having to do so. So what do you think? What do you think about all this? What do you think about these numbers? What do you think about the state of streaming? Are you looking for a step change, a major enhancement in streaming quality to come? Are you waiting? Are you still collecting discs? Are you looking to get into Kaleidoscape? Are you already in Kaleidoscape? Where are you at in your media content sourcing and consumption, collecting, library building, and all of that? Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you're doing. What are your preferred devices? What are your preferred services? How are you feeding content into your entertainment spaces? If you would like to step up your game, of course, for any of your home theater equipment, audio, video wise, I am a dealer. I sell over 24 different brands of AV gear and equipment: Kaleidoscape, JVC, Panamorph, Seymour, SVS, Focal, Denon Marantz, Sony. I can access a whole bunch of stuff. You need racks, you want power management things, I can do those as well. Reach out, Jeremy at techthusiasm.net via email, or go to www.techthusiasm.net or even techthusiasm.com. I just got the .com version of my own domain, my company finally. I have the .com now as well. Pretty cool. But reach out, I'll get in touch, we'll take a call. Happy to advise, consult, and get you squared away and set up with some awesome upgrades and some awesome equipment. If you'd like to support me in other ways, hey, I have a bunch of general shopping affiliates down in the descriptions of all my videos. Audio Device, Amazon, Walmart, Crutchfield, a whole bunch of them down there. Too many to list here. Just look and please do your shopping through those links. In addition, feel free to become a channel member, leave a super thanks. Any of those other methods are always appreciated. Please do that regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, leave that comment. Let's talk about content consumption in home theater in mid-2025. Thanks so much for watching. Come on back for more home theater discussion and fun.